Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. May 19th, season 2 of Who Killed Sara is going to be dropping on Netflix, and we're speaking to someone who you will recognize, of course, from that show. Eugenio Siller is with us. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much, Peter. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem. It's an exciting time. I mean, season 1 dropped, end of March, and now we're getting season 2. It's like the hype train hasn't stopped at all.
Exactly. It's been really fast. Everything's happening so fast. The cast and crew and everyone, we just can't believe what's happening. Being a show that's just been a big hit around the world. And as I guess you know, it's one of the first shows that's broken a lot of records in the world for being the first non-speaking show that's become very popular on the platform. So we're just delighted and humbled and so thankful to everyone that's watched the show.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that. To add to that, I mean, it's a Spanish language show. It's gotten so much amazing feedback and popularity around the world. When did that sink in for you? Was it a couple of weeks into season 1 that you had a global hit with Who Killed Sara?
It was actually, I think, less than a week after we premiered. And people and fans and everyone was sending statistics and stuff and numbers, and we were like awed. We couldn't believe what was happening. I think it's a pleasure for a Mexican production, of course, and also a Latin American TV show to be portrayed and to be showed around the world, that we can do competitive stuff. And I think the production in the show, it's just great. I love everything. I love the music, for example.
Yeah.
I love it. The actors, I think it adds the mystery thing, the color correction that you can see. It's just amazing. So being part of a show that's so successful around the world, it's just a privilege. I think as an actor, it's one of those things that you seek for your whole career, to be on a project that at some point it can be just launched in a platform like Netflix around the world.
Yes.
So I'm just so impressed and so thankful for everything that's happening right now, and with us and with the show and with my career.
Now, for people who watch the show, there's a lot going on with your character in this show. It's an emotional roller coaster. What's the mindset in terms of preparation for a role like this, Eugenio?
Well, the first time I read the character, I was just so hooked with it. I loved it. It was so emotional. I think it's a character that it was a complete challenge for me. Of course, I had always done different types of characters. Yeah. And at some point in an actor's career, at least in my case, I was a little bit typecasted always. So when this character came into my hands, I was like, I need to do this. It was something so different. It was something that was that represented something out of the box for me. So it is a roller coaster of emotions. And
yeah.
Yes, I had the privilege of working, of doing table readings with directors, and also I worked with Lorenzo, which is my partner in the show, Luis Roberto Guzman. So we used to have long hour meetings, talk about our characters, and I had the privilege of talking to the writer of the show, the creator of the show. So I could ask a little bit of questions like, why did you portray him like this? Why does he do this? Why this? Why that? So he cleared everything up. So by the time I was on set, I could perfectly know what my character had, like the background my character had family-wise, emotionally, personally. And I think it's a character that has given me so much. And I also think it's going to give the audience a lot of lessons. One of them is, for me, self-love and accepting yourself. I think this character represents self-acceptance and self-love.
100%.
Right? So I love it. it is, the character is all about fighting for what you want, being happy with yourself, with your own skin, with whatever you have, religion, sexual preferences, anything. And it's a great example for all of us. For me, it was, I learned a lot from this character.
And that was actually my next question. It's interesting because it's obviously a character you just said that you're a bit out of your comfort zone. You're not used to roles like this and everything. So could you go into detail a little bit more about like learning experiences in terms of the craft of acting with this role?
Yes, experiences I learned was, for example, every time I did scenes that were emotionally hard for me as an actor, I would just try to be in the moment and not think about anything else. And I'm mentioning this because it was the first time I was nude. I had never done any nude scenes before.
Yeah.
Either on film or TV or anything. So I was really nervous and I was really conscious about either my body and some other stuff. And acting wise, I learned that's what they teach you in acting school and everything, to be right in the moment and listening. But for example, one of the challenges was when doing that, like the sex scenes or the naked scenes, it was really hard for me to, at the beginning in the rehearsals, to be in everything at the same time. And then I learned I had to let go of all of that stuff and not be distracted by superficial things. So by the time I shot the scenes, I was like, oh, I was not conscious about my body. I was not conscious about anything. That means I did a good job. And I was in the moment listening to my partner at that time, right?
Oh, absolutely. People that are watching Who Killed Sara, there's a lot kind of going on in this show. And this is a show where you have to really be dialed in and there's a lot going on. I'm just curious, from what you've seen on social media or you talking to, cast and crew, there's a lot of elements that are hitting stride and why it's popular. To you, from what you see, what do you think, which elements are really hitting stride with the audience do you think is making the show so popular? Is it the family component? Is it the drama? Like, what do you think is it a mix of everything, Eugenio?
I think it is a mix of everything, but I think what keeps the audience hooked, and this is something that I like, it's the small little details that they drop, either with an image or a word or a reaction in a character, that I think all of the cast, we were all trying to do that. And that was something that it was an element of style, for example, in my acting, that I was always trying to react and do certain things that the public or the audience could think it was because of something. And sometimes it's just a normal reaction. But if you say something and I just turn my eyes and then smile a little bit, you're like, oh, what they mentioned, whatever, a bottle. So does the bottle have something to do with Sara? I think it's the small little details and images, and also the writer put them magically in place so that people would be wondering about what is it, so that we could put like the bits and pieces together at the end. So it's like this little surprise factor that I guess keeps us hooked with the storyline.
It's funny how we're conscious of little kind of dialogue and little things certain characters say to each other, right? It's like characters say little things and you're like, wait a second, why did that person say that?
Exactly. I love it that the audience, for example, me as an audience, also sitting in my living room, it makes you not only watch the show, but it makes you participate actively. 100%. I found myself talking to the characters in my living room, knowing that I did the show and they're my co-workers and actors, and I'm like, no, what did you do? Oh my God, couldn't you see? Oh, come on. So
why did you do that? Why did you say that?
Exactly. And that doesn't happen often, at least in my case, it doesn't happen that often. I found myself interacting with the show, and I think that's a really good sign. And friends and people who have watched the show have told me the same thing, that they're like actively participating all the time. And I love that.
Absolutely. Well, Eugenio, thank you so much for coming on Popternative to chat about season 2 of Who Killed Sara. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. You guys cannot miss it. It's May 19th. It's the second season. We're dropping it out. It comes even better. There's action, there's drama, there's everything. So don't miss it.
And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything very quickly?
Instagram and Twitter, it's Eugenio_Siller.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, be sure to catch Eugenio in season 2 of Who Killed Sara, May 19th on Netflix. Until next time, it's Eugenio and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.